Hello my friends, I'm International Master Andreas Dernadianos, and today we'll start a new video series about Badpieces. So if you like my videos, subscribe to my channel and speak about this channel to your chess friends too. Thank you very much. Hello my friends. In this new video series, we will speak about Badpieces. In the first video, we will see Capablanca's method of artificial material superiority. What is this? We'll see right now. In this game, white is winter and black is Capablanca. Okay, we flip the board so to see the game through the black pieces. So this game was played in Hastings, 1918, and white played e4. After e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, we have an opening that is called 4 knights. Okay, and we have the bishop b5, Spanish 4 knights. Okay, now black has two main moves: knight d4, Rubinstein variation, and bishop b4. Bishop b4 was played in this game, castle, castle, and now bishop takes c6. This is a well-known idea. This idea was played a lot in the time that this tournament take place. So this bishop takes c6 was tried also in game from Nimzowitsch, many games from Nimzowitsch. Now black has to take with the d pawn. This is the idea, because if you take with the b pawn, then black can take d5, because it's not easy to play now d6 after rook e8. The c6 is hanging. That's why black has to take with the d pawn, and after d3 have this basic position. So let's try to understand. Okay, Capablanca played here bishop d6. It's a quite good move because black wants to protect this e5 pawn, and also they want to go for c5. On the other side, this gives also white the idea to play knight d2, knight c4, play for f4. Now there are a lot of moves here. One of the basic moves is h3. The idea is to transfer the knight to f5, even immediately with knight d2 and knight g3, or with king h1 first. Then to play g4, put also the rook on g1, and go for knight f5. Now, let's understand why black is not easy to find play now. Because after, let's say, queen e2, black also has to play c5. Let's see what's going on after bishop g4. White can play h3 and g4. Now, this sacrifice is not good because white can simply play queen e3 and knight h2. So after bishop g6, then we see that this bishop is out of play. Why this happens? Because the pawn is not on d7. If this pawn was on d7, then black can play d5 and put pressure on e4. Then this bishop has a meaning, has a plan to put pressure on white center. Now black has to sit and wait for white to organize his plan. So let's go back to the game. White didn't play h3 or knight d2, played bishop g5. Not such a good move. And now after h6, which is a very important move, we'll see why, bishop h4, and now Capablanca played. Now of course white has to go for this plan. Okay, play for knight e3 and f5 square root d5, or play for f4. So c5 has a trap, okay, and white goes into this trap, knight d5. Now black has a very easy way to be clearly better. Black play d5. Now you cannot sacrifice here because black can play this intermediate move, If you take, you lose the pieces. If you go back with knight f3, black can also go back, have a piece more. Also, after g5, if you go to g3, white can take, and now has a lot of ideas, because this bishop will be out of play. They can protect this pawn and go for f5 or f4. Also, they can play or with the same idea. The position is very bad, white. So there is no reason for white to allow to double his pawns on the d file. That's why white took on f6. On f6 and bishop g3. Bishop g4. And now we understand the idea. This position after f6, this bishop is completely out of play. The king can come to e6, and white has a very easy plan of open a file on the queen side. This happens, black will play with a piece more on the queen side, because this bishop g3 cannot come to the queen side to him. So, any problem here, because don't forget that black also has a bad bishop now, is if they can manage to open the queen side. The game was played like king g2, a5, and a4. King f7, and now Kasparov, in my great predecessor, a fantastic book, write that, okay, Capablanca was a legend, but also the defense of his opponent was very bad. White has to play c4, try to keep the queen side closed. So after c6, rook c1, rook b8, b3 and b5, white has this very strong move. White wants to take on c4 with the d pawn to keep the b file closed. Rook b6, king f1, they take with the d pawn on c4, and now be careful, this is the best move. Why? Because if you go this way, then winning. But after this move, it's not easy for black to open the position. White has very good chances to keep the draw. So, in the game, white play rook h1. This is a very usual mistake. When we don't understand that we are worse, we play for h4, initiative, attack, all this. This is very bad. Have to understand who is playing for a win in every position. After rook h1, king e6 was played, h4, and of course the plan to open the b file. White took on g5, play b3. Be careful. b5 is a big mistake because now white can keep the position. So c6 is the best move. Rook a2, b5, and now b4. Okay, this is a very good move. We sacrifice a pawn to open the b line. If white takes the pawn, then it's very easy for black to win. Double on the b file, take the c4 pawn, and everything is. So after c4, white took on b5, and now very good intermediate move, take on b3 first. Why? Because white cannot take on a. After the exchanges, b2 and the pawn promote to a queen. So c takes b3, rook takes b5, and now we see that these two pieces, the bishop and the king, is out of play completely. White took on b3, rook b5. Now just to see, there is nothing here, so just to see how black can win, just promote. Okay, this is the first game. So go to see the next one. Some time ago, Nakamura said that he does not study the classics, the game of the classic players, because he finds them not so useful. I cannot disagree more. This is not true. All the time we have to study the game of the classic player, Capablanca. Let's see why. This is the game short Kramnik. Okay, with Nigel we work sometime in the vacanze many years ago for preparing him for some games. It was a very good experience. Now he's played with Kramnik. This game is from London Classic in 2011. Okay, I don't want to spend time in the first move because they are not important. Okay, it is in the second round and white want to play very solid in this variation. That's why knight d4 to be style attack. White took on d4 and play this boring variation. Now we know that black does not want to take on d2 because the bishop will take and come to c3. So this is the main line. Okay, bishop c5. Now if castle, this is not possible because we take and rook d8. Can you find what's going on after queen takes c7? Yes, black has this mate. Check. Not with the bishop because white play king h1 with the queen and mate. Okay, in the game queen e2 was played, queen e6. Now white does not want to take because f take e6 and white opens the file and put pressure on f2. So castle is the logical continuation, and now black also castle. You see now this is not good because in this position black take with the d pawn. Now white has double pawns on the queen side and they cannot create a passed pawn. But black can create a passed pawn on the king side. So in this position it is like black has a pawn more. It's a very big advantage for black. There is no reason for white to allow this. Okay, that's why Nigel played queen f3. Now d6 is a very logical idea to exchange queen. Nigel played bishop g5, and after queen f5 he has to understand that something is going wrong here. He has to take and play for a draw. Okay, it's completely equal position. Instead of this, he tried to gain the exchange. But Kramnik has a very good idea. After queen take f3, okay, Nigel showed that bishop h3 it's a draw because you can take on f1 and take on d6. There will be opposite color bishops. Any variation. Okay, it is very close to a draw. There is nothing to play for. But Kramnik played a very strong move here. Play a6. The idea of Kramnik is if white take on f8, then after a takes b5, bishop e7, we see this back piece on e7. Okay, white has problems with the bishop, and although black cannot gain this bishop immediately, white will continue the game with a piece less. So like rook e1, b7, king f7, very easy to play this position. Bishop put pressure here, rook e8. So bishop a4 was played, and now b5. And now the game that the mistake that lose the game is b4. Bishop b3 was the only move, I think. After b4, this rook e8 is very good now because the bishop on a4 does not control this e8, played b5. So black has the time to play this intermediate move. Now a very good idea. If white take on c5, do you see that black is winning? Not easy to see. Rook take on e7. After she takes d6, rook e6, fantastic move. White has to move the bishop. Rook g6 check, and bishop b7, threatening bishop f3 mate. So rook 1 was played. Bishop b6, bishop b3, bishop b7, threatening the f3 pawn, and king g2. Now we show, if you show the game of winter with Capablanca, it's very good to understand what black has to play in this 5. Now this bishop is out of play completely and will be a spectator for the rest of the game. Rook e5 played, c6, rook e1, bishop c7, and bishop c. Okay, even such trick like bishop d8 doesn't do anything. Check, exchange rook, and play with, okay, it's opposite color bishop, but this bishop is not playing, and this bishop will take all this. So a4 was played, and bishop d7. Now the idea is to play f6, and simply black exchange all the pieces. Here is his comments. Kramnik make a joke that in these endings, black is playing with a bishop more, and when I play with the bishop more, I'm a very strong player. So after bishop take on e8, bishop g3, a very important moment. Why black exchange all his pieces? Because the percentage of the bad pieces is going up. If you have a bad bishop in this position, see, have one bad bishop in 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So it's 25%. When we exchange these two rooks, have this position, one bad pieces out of 2 pieces. So 50%. Just to know, 25 to 30% is a lost position already. Okay. So this is a very well-known tactic. Exchange the good piece of your opponent, so the percentage of the bad pieces will go up, will be bigger. So after bishop e8, bishop g3, why don't exchange this bishop? After all, white will have 100% bad pieces. Yes, but in order to win, the black king has to go through, has to penetrate into white's camp. This is not possible because if I take on g3, this double pawn will not be double anymore, and they will create a barrier, and the black king is not easy to go inside. So that's why bishop d8 is the best move. We will exchange this bishop, but later on and under better circumstances. Okay, bishop e5, f6, bishop g6, and just break the king. Very good check, and we see now also the king cannot move. So bishop and king cannot move. Bishop a2, and black start his plan. Now, if white stop this g4, because we see we play with two bishops, this bishop is not playing, so we have to open the light squares, because this is the light square bishop. After we open the light squares, the black king will go to the king's side. So if white played h3, can you see how to continue? Because I don't want to exchange all the pawns. Very easy plan is just to go the bishop back and go with the king to h4 to win this pawn. Like this, I think. Logical. And black wins. So after bishop d6, what was played? A very good idea. White don't want to take on g4, because king takes g4, after f3, king h3, king g2, black will win the f pawn and the h pawn later. So we'll have an h pawn to be a queen. This is very important to keep a pawn on this side. After g4, king f1 is a very imaginative way of defense, because this block, if black take on f3, this pawn will block the king, the entrance of the black king. That's why here we have to think. Can you find the way to win? g3, very good move. Take on g3 and take on f3. Now we see all the light squares are available for our king. a2, and in this position sort was disgusted about this course and resigns. Let's go on to see a way. Now, there is no reason to take immediately. We can play king e4 first, but let's go with simple moves to see how we'll win. Now we see there is a Chesstraining. King move, go to the other side, and now it's not easy to find a move for white. So white has to give the c pawn. Pawn, bring the h pawn to h4, and now after king h1, let's go to the other side and also Chesstraining, because the white king has to go. Now we can also give the bishop, go to the other side to win. That's for today, friend. So we see this very well-known method of Capablanca. Okay, the artificial material superiority. Okay, you block the piece the one side, so he cannot come to the center or to the other side, and you transfer the play to the other side. This way, play with the piece. That's for today. We'll continue with the second one.